Hey everyone, back tuning into this evening's update. We're doing the 5th Christmas update this evening. We've done 4 before this one. We're all square really in terms of mild and cold. The first 2 were generally quite cold, not severely cold, but generally a little bit on the cold side. The second 2 were mild. The last one, the 4th update, was very mild. Well, before that was stormy mild. So we're all square in terms of cold and mild in the first 4 updates. We will see what the 5th update has to show in a second. Once again, we're using the 9-monthly CFS forecast from the website meteoseal.fr. This was generated 6 o'clock in the evening yesterday. For some reason, I'm not sure quite what's happened, but for some reason we've skipped out the midday run today. So this, as I say, was generated 6 o'clock in the evening on the 9th of November, which of course was yesterday. So we'll have a look at the charts in a second. Before we get on with that, just say about the ads. There's links to articles on the page of Gazzo. Let's have a browse widgets and click through the links. If there's any articles that you're interested in, thanks so much for doing that. This video ads on those pages which open out in the content. When you watch them, they'll close back up again. It's all helping to pay for the website. And Gaz's Christmas shop is open, so if you've got any Christmas shopping to do at Amazon between now and Christmas, just click through the Amazon banners in Gaz Shop to take you off to Amazon, where you can do your Christmas shopping as normal. But the key, of course, you're clicking from Gaz Service to Amazon, where you get a revenue fee on the things that you are buying. So thanks so much for doing that. Remember, the idea behind these Christmas updates is that we're looking for trends. Of course, we're talking about weather that's 6 weeks away, so we're not going to get the exact pattern pinned down today for Christmas, but over time, as we do these updates more frequently, we should start to see patterns and trends emerge if the model is working correctly. So last year, for instance, most of the updates were mild. We only had a few, probably 2 or 3, no more than that were really cold last year. So as I say, over time, we should see the pattern and the trend emerging of where the model is seeing things going. So let's get on with it, and we're going to start on the 10th of December, and it's a case of an unsettled and mild scenario. We've got low pressure in the Atlantic bringing up these southwesterly winds, and quite wet and windy conditions moving in on the 10th of December. Moving through to the 11th, we keep low pressure very close to the country, and that takes us into the 12th as well. So bands of rain coming in across the country and a very mild southerly wind. The reason we've got this southerly wind is we've got high pressure developing over Scandinavia, and there's quite a deep cold pool sitting across Eastern Europe. If you know anything about the weather, things will always start getting a little bit more interesting when pressure begins to go up over Scandinavia in the winter. But at this stage, to the 12th of December, we're still bringing in a very mild southerly flow with low pressure stalling out to the west, probably weather fronts stuck across the country, producing quite a lot of heavy rain. We move through to the 13th into the 14th of December. What happens is that the low pressure starts to cut off down to the south. So the high pressure over Scandinavia is actually winning the battle. This low pressure is sinking southwards into Spain and the Bay of Biscay. The winds are beginning to back into the southeast as this high pressure over Scandinavia backing into west of Russia begins to move closer towards us. It's not cold at this point, but it's certainly cooler with the flow going into a continental southeasterly. And then we go up into the middle of December. This takes us to the 15th. And look what happens. The high pressure just takes over really across Scandinavia. So we've got a cold easterly wind coming in here from the 15th, 16th into the 17th. We could be bringing snow showers, certainly, if this comes off into the east. And daytime temperatures would struggle to get above freezing with hard overnight frost. So a cold easterly flow sets up through the middle part of December. Let's run on, and we go into the 17th, on into the 18th. And the high pressure sort of sits down across the country then. So we cut off the easterly a little bit, although the general drift is still from the east, but it's cold under this area of high pressure. I think we'd have hard, maybe even severe frost, and again, daytime temperatures struggling to get above freezing. There could still be snow showers around those southern and eastern coastal fringes. A little upper trough tries to come in on the 20th. Of course, you can't sort of pin down to the exact day, but some sort of trough runs across the south. That will probably bring longer spells of snow across England and Wales, particularly around the 21st and around 20th, 21st of December. It could be quite disruptive, actually, that running up to Christmas with that upper trough. You certainly wouldn't rule out some disruptive snowfall. And then the high pressure over Scandinavia again just sticks close to Scandinavia running up to Christmas. So this takes up to 23rd on into Christmas Eve. This is how we go into midday on Christmas Eve. The high pressure then starts to recede a little bit. Low pressure's trying to come in off the Atlantic. This will be bringing weather fronts in from the west. Of course, those fronts are moving into cold air that's already been established by that easterly flow. So you'd have outbreaks of rain turning to snow there on Christmas Eve, and that would probably give many of us a white Christmas. There'd be heavy snow moving in from the Atlantic, driven on by a bitterly cold southerly or southeasterly wind. So we move through into Christmas Day, and low pressure is out to the west. What will be happening here on Christmas Day is that you still have weather fronts strung out across the country within cold air, so you'd have a sort of snow to rain scenario. A lot of places could wake up with snow, but it would turn increasingly back to rain through the course of the day. The temperature starts to lift up, particularly in the south and west, but the north and east will probably hold on to the cold weather throughout Christmas Day. That is a white Christmas, I would think, being signalled by the CFS this evening. And then going up to Boxing Day, low pressure then wins the battle. So it turns milder into Boxing Day, into the 27th. These areas of low pressure coming off the Atlantic bring rain bands now, some quite heavy bands of rain sweeping in across the country as the temperatures start to lift up. And it turns quite stormy, actually, as we run up to the 29th. There'll be some heavy rain and strong gale force winds sweeping in. Notice, however, that the low pressure again is drifting down to the south of us as we get through to the 29th. So the winds are beginning to back into the southeast and the east once again as these low pressures are starting to be forced southwards by the jet stream. So you probably get more snow actually across the north of the country by the time we get through to run up to New Year. This is the 30th on into New Year's Eve. What happens is that the low pressure is sort of diving southwards, and again we're bringing in these easterly winds now, so it's turning colder as we run up to the start of 2016. You'd have low pressure close to the country, but within cold air probably an increasing risk of snow again as we go up towards the new year. And then just running through the first few days of January, it stays cold. The wind goes back into the east as this area of low pressure dives southwards to the southwest. We're pulling the winds in from the east once again, bring cold air back from the east. So you'd have more easterly winds sweeping in across the country, bringing snow through the early days of January 2016. This is a very cold and wintry run from the CFS tonight. And as far as we can go, I'm going to stop on the 8th of January, and as far as we go, it stays very cold, with winds steering from the north and the east. These low pressures stalled out to the west, so there'd be a further risk of snow across parts of the country. This is a very cold update from the CFS V2 model tonight. If it came off, suffice to say, it would be a very wintry run up to Christmas. It'd be wintry over Christmas, and then after a little thaw out around the 27th, 28th, gets wintry again for the new year. So if you want a cold and snowy Christmas, that's about as good as it gets, I would think. I'm sure there'll be a lot of smiling faces, but of course it's only one run from the CFS V2, so the next one could look completely different. But we certainly have having a more interesting year this year with these Christmas updates. Last year we hardly had any updates that looked like this. We've already had two quite cold ones, updates 1 and 2. 3 and 4 went mild. Now we've gone cold, very cold even, again for the 5th update. So I think something could be in the works here with the CFS. May not turn out anything as like that, anything as cold or wintry as that. But it could be that something is in the works with the CFS this year. We will see what the 6th update is showing, probably on probably Thursday or Friday, so keep an eye on my Twitter feed for that. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed the update. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.